The elephant in the living room appears when you connect the dots. When you connect enough, the elephant it's so blatant. But when the dots are unconnected, there's no elephant there because you can't see it. And that elephant in the living room is that there is a multi-level conspiracy, and it is multi-level, to enslave humanity in like a global concentration camp. The trick is to make sure the slaves don't realize they're slaves, so they don't do anything about their slavery. Although as this moves and moves towards its goal, that is becoming more obvious. When I first started on this journey 20 years ago, the first few years, all the information coming to me in the, like I say, incredible synchronicity of meeting people, seeing documents, coming across information, having experiences. That first few years were about what I call the 5 sense level of this conspiracy. The banking scams, the police state, the Orwellian surveillance, the big pharmaceutical cartel, attack on the human body and the human immune system, engineered wars. And then after a few years, I started to move through the synchronicity, just following the clues as it said at the start. I came across this reptilian connection to the families that are running our reality. And then the most important part, from about 2003, 2002, when the synchronicity started taking me in to the nature of reality itself. And until we understand at least the themes of what this illusion is, we can understand nothing else about the world as it is and the way that the control system works. And then, over the last year, that synchronicity and the puzzle pieces has taken me into, perhaps for many people, I understand it, the most extraordinary area, which is that the moon is not what we think it is. Now, can you imagine if you've come along today out of curiosity? We're a few minutes in and your eyes are on Bill, he just said reptile, he couldn't have done, he did, I heard him. Funny. Well, we're going to get into some strange stuff, especially in the second section. Well, the first section's strange. We really are lunatics for reasons that I'll come to. So we're now at this fork in the road where we can go down one track and we can experience freedom in a way that we've never even understood what freedom is. We go down the other one, the one that the control system wants, then we're heading for a Orwellian fascist global state. It's unfolding as I speak. That choice, that fork in the road, is to become conscious, because most of humanity isn't, because it's manipulated not to be, or the control system's route, which is just to become a clone, a computer terminal of a control system, a merciless control system. The choice is between this, not too far down the road if we allow it, and this. Go hard, isn't it? Which one? Ugh. Freedom on a level, like I say, that we can't even begin to imagine from the perception of awareness that we've had so far. We perceive just a fraction of what freedom is, even when we talk about freedom. And we can break out of this. We can break out of this maze, this vibrational prison that we've been encased in. But to do that, as I said at the start, we have to stop doing what has put us in there. And that is conforming to the world that we are told the world is. Stop being in the herd. Stop being in the box, because there is another way. And if we don't take another way, I'm not saying the other way, we live in all possibility, but if we don't take another way from the way we've taken this far, how can anything change? It can't. If you always do what you've always done, you'll always get what you've always got. Real simple. And we don't have to all be the same. You can look the other way. You don't have to be a faceless person in a faceless crowd. It's not compulsory. You can express your uniqueness. You don't have to do what everybody else does just because they do it and be frightened of conforming. And sometimes the choice of not conforming can actually save us a lot of grief. And it will in the next few years. You don't have to swim with the tide. You can swim the other way. It's possible. You were born an original. Don't die a copy. But how many people do? Because they fear not being like everyone else is because of the comeback from those people. Truth does not change because it is or is not believed by the majority of the people. Everybody knows that, mate. Everyone knows that's rubbish. Well, I don't know it's rubbish. That's one less than everyone. We've made a start. As Gandhi said, even if you're in a minority of one, the truth is still the truth. The multitude is always wrong. My goodness, how history has confirmed that. And this is the stadium on which it all plays out. The human mind. You cannot control billions of people physically. You can in certain small areas, yes, with your tanks and your bloody tasers and all that rubbish, but you can't do it to 7 billion. You have to control the way they perceive themselves and the world, and therefore through that make them behave the way you want them to. So if we're going to go down this route of freedom, first of all, we need to free our minds from the programming of a lifetime. Free our minds from the belief that what we're programmed to believe in schools is the truth about anything. It's not there to enlighten us. It's there to program us with a certain perception of reality which we carry through our lives, so we will be good little slaves based on who we think we are and what we think the world is. Free our minds from the diversions and the nonsense and, hey honey, she's after the car, quick. And while we're doing that, over here, the world is being orchestrated. Not for our benefit either. Free our minds from the belief that the mainstream media is interested in telling the people the truth of what's going on in the world. It's there to do the opposite. It's to tell us the version of reality the control system wants us to believe, so we will respond and react in the right way. Free our minds from the fake change people. I mean, crikey, is there a politician that's actually campaigning anymore that's not saying they stand for change? Change? Yes, I'll tell you what the change is. It's one guy claiming to be change controlled by the same force that controlled the previous guy. Free our minds from the fake, fraudulent, false flag terrorist events created by the same control system that then tells you how the world must change to save us from the terrorism that they had covertly created. Free our minds from the front men for this control system, who are put up to frighten us into accepting changes in society, surveillance and control to save us from people who are front men for the very system that says, let me save you from him. Free our minds from the bullshit nonsense about human-caused global warming, which is nothing more than a way of introducing and justifying more and more controls and massive, massive increases in taxation, making fortunes for people like him. Free our minds from the idea that Big Pharma, the pharmaceutical industry, is in any way interested in human health. It's not about human health, it's about Big Pharma wealth and more. Free our minds from the four-letter word that controls the world, fear, that traps us in these vibrational boxes called fear. And free our minds, more than anything else, from the idea that we are Charlie Jones or Ethel Smith. We're just Joe Public. We've got no power. The choice is to become conscious, to realize that Ethel Smith is an experience, not who we are, and choose not to be what the control system is fast trying to create. Since I started writing about this in some detail 15, 16, 17 years ago about the control system, it's gone from it's coming to daily experience. I think this is a symbolic picture myself. That plaque says George Orwell lived here. We've got peaceful demonstrations in America being scattered by excruciatingly painful sound technology. The microchip agenda's moving on. The sky's full of chemtrails and all the stuff that's in them. The food we are given to eat, if we choose to eat it, is full of chemical cocktails that are destabilizing our ability to think straight and be emotionally stable. And they're targeting the children more than anyone because they're the ones that are supposed to live most of their lives in this control system. They bloody won't, as I'll get to later, but they're trying. And yet so many people are still saying, well, it looks all right to me. Looks all right to me. To have your head in the sand, you have to be on your knees. The two go together. Ain't it great? Ain't it great to be free? So the idea is to enslave us while people think they're free. And this is a real important area that keeps us from focusing on this and acting on this. Wishful thinking. Wishful thinking that says, well, I don't want it to be true, so I'm going to kid myself it's not. And if I can do that, then I don't have to do anything. Here's an example of wishful thinking I came across. Wishful thinking that this threat will make any difference to their husband's drinking. That's wishful thinking. When I first saw that, I immediately ordered a large one, personally. But that's wishful thinking. I wish it were different. I wish things were different. Well, we all do, but they're not. They are as they are, and I find myself saying this all the time now. It is what it is. And if you accept what it is, you can change what it is. If you're in denial of it, you're not going to change it because you're kidding yourself it doesn't exist. This control system is coming in. It's coming in fast at the moment. And we have to get it from talking about it to doing something about it. And it's crept up on us step by step. While we're watching the game shows and celebrity world and sport and stuff. Nothing wrong with any of those things. But if you're there and you've not got the peripheral vision, they will keep you from seeing what's going on. And now the future is here. It's not sometime never. The future is here. And we've got to go from that to that pretty damn quick. And we can and we will. In many, many ways. As Martin Luther King said, the ultimate measure of a man is not where he stands in moments of comfort and convenience, but where he stands at times of challenge and controversy. And we are at a time of challenge and controversy, and we'll see what we're bloody made of, frankly. But the great news is, and I'm going to get into this big time in the last section, this is a time of fantastic awakening. Like I say, when I started on this journey consciously anyway, 20 years ago, the number of people that were in any way interested in this information, whether it's the nature of reality or the control system and its agenda, was tiny, tiny, tiny. It was a lonely road. Not anymore. A phenomenal awakenings happening all over the world as people start to expand their minds and open their minds to another possibility, to another world, to another sense of self. And what comes with that awakening, indeed what triggers it in so many ways, is when we decide to ask the big questions. Because only then can we get the big answers. Like, who are we? Where are we? What is reality? And that's what I'm going to focus on in this first section, because unless we at least understand the themes of what reality is, we cannot possibly understand what's happening in the world and how the control system really works and how deep the rabbit hole goes.